So, as usual, we need to know what glutathione first before we delve into the subject about the fountain of youth. Okay, so glutathione is a small peptide made of only 3 amino acids. So it's a tripeptide made of L-glutamic acid, L-cysteine, and L-glycine. But this small peptide is a miracle molecule with so many important functions, crucial for health. And the chemical short form for the active or reduced form of glutathione is GSH. And the G refers to the bulk of the molecule, and the SH refers to the thiol or sulfur group at the top there, which has 1 sulfur and 1 hydrogen atom. And that's what gives glutathione its versatility, but also makes glutathione fragile. And that's a component of the central amino acid, which is cysteine, which means cysteine is fragile also. So what are the major functions of glutathione? So we know that it is the most important intracellular antioxidant for many decades. That was what glutathione was mainly known for. Then later on, we know that it has many other important functions, including being a very powerful and versatile anti-inflammatory agent when the subjects of inflammation more or less superseded the subject of antioxidants, free radicals in terms of disease. And then we find that it's a very important immune booster and modulator, and it's also a very powerful and versatile detoxifying agent. And in the last decade or so, they were talking about it being a very important signaling molecule to many cell systems. Okay, so let's start with this most important and most famous function first, that it is the master antioxidant. And this is to fight free radicals, which cause oxidative stress. So oxidative stress is associated with many chronic diseases and aging. Therefore, glutathione, as the master antioxidant, has beneficial roles in maintaining health and in all these diseases, which include diabetes, atherosclerosis, or the hardening of blood vessels, inflammatory conditions, hypertension, heart disease, neurodegenerative diseases such as Parkinson's and Alzheimer's, cancer, and aging. And then we move to the subject of inflammation. So the current science is inflammation is the starting point for almost all diseases, aging, and cancer. So where does oxidative stress come in? Well, actually, the free radicals which cause oxidative stress is a major cause of chronic inflammation. So it's not that they become unimportant after the discovery of chronic inflammation as the underlying cause. Now we understand the bigger picture that oxidative stress is a major contributor to chronic inflammation, but there are other things which contribute to chronic inflammation. When it comes to its function as an immune booster modulator, we know that the immune system is our defense against external attack from all sorts of organisms, including viruses, bacteria, fungi, parasites. But it is also our defense against certain types of toxins, and also defense against cancer. So our immune system, apart from doing the traditional work of fighting invaders, also destroy and remove dead, dying, mutant, and foreign cells, remove tissue debris, and all this contribute, otherwise will contribute to the body getting sick and diseased. When it comes to its function as a detoxifier, so glutathione acts in two stages. First, it combines with the toxins and render these toxins water soluble. Most of these toxins, they remain in the body because they are fat soluble. So they stick to in the body because it's not easy to get rid of fat soluble substances compared to water soluble substances. So glutathione render these toxins water soluble, which then can be excreted through the kidney and liver. At the same time, the glutathione can neutralize many of these toxins, rendering them harmless, even if we cannot get rid of the toxin. But if it's already been rendered harmless, then it is still beneficial for the body. Okay, but the best is to be able to get rid of toxins. Now, what about glutathione as a signaling molecule? So let's get familiar first with what we mean by signaling molecule. So beyond its antioxidant, anti-inflammatory, immune modulating, and detox actions, glutathione is also involved in nutrient metabolism and the regulation of many cellular metabolic functions, ranging from gene expression, DNA and protein synthesis, to cell signaling, cell proliferation, and apoptosis. So what is cell signaling? Signaling molecules are molecules that are responsible for transmitting information and instructions between cells in our body. Glutathione is an important signaling molecule for many cell systems. Okay, in case you're not familiar with the term apoptosis, what is apoptosis? Apoptosis is a form of programmed cell death or cellular suicide. It is different from necrosis, in which cells die due to injury. Apoptosis is an orderly process in which the cell's contents are packaged into small packets of membrane for garbage collection by immune cells. The average adult human loses between 50 to 70 billion cells each day. That's a lot, due to apoptosis. Glutathione is essential for this orderly cell death. Disorderly apoptosis can result in atrophy or cancer. Okay, so this orderly process requires plenty of glutathione. Otherwise, you may end up with diseased organs or cancer because of improper destruction of the cells. Okay, so in summary, I've mentioned 5 major functions, but there are probably another 5,000 other functions of glutathione. There's so many. There's no system that escapes glutathione. And there's, as far as I have discovered so far, almost there's no disease in which glutathione is not involved. These functions are so crucial to protect all cells, such that a deficiency of glutathione will cause oxidative stress, inflammation, toxicity, and immune problems that may progress to a whole variety of tissue and organ dysfunction and a whole range of diseases. So we can conclude that glutathione is crucial for health. Now, does it influence aging and longevity? So according to science, let's see what has been researched and discovered. Right, studies on yeast. Right, studies show that low glutathione levels are associated with shorter lifespans for the yeast. Okay, so even in the lower organisms, glutathione is still very important for their health and longevity. Then go up the scale. Studies on worms. Glutathione increased lifespan of worms by 30%. Studies in C. elegans, which is the most studied worms, show glutathione activates the sirtuin pathway. Sirtuin is the anti-aging pathway, increasing the lifespan and stress resistance of these small worms by about 30%. Okay, so you have, the yeast at the at the one end of the scale, and then you come up to worms. You can see glutathione plays a very important role in the health and lifespan. Okay, then we move up further up to mice now. Preventing age-related decline in glutathione and mitochondrial function increases longevity in mice. Impaired mitochondrial energetics, which occurs in aging, could limit lifespan. This is the study shows. Optimal mitochondrial fat oxidation critically depends on adequate availability of the endogenous antioxidant glutathione. And glutathione deficiency in aging can be corrected by dietary supplementation with glutathione precursors. Okay, this is a study on mice. So a study on mice showed that boosting glutathione improved oxidative stress, mitochondrial fat oxidation, and molecular regulation of mitochondrial energy metabolism. Okay, and the lifespan of mice was increased 23.7% compared to controls. So earlier on, we see 30% increase in the worms. Here we have 23.7% in mice. Finally, what about humans? What is the maximum human lifespan? Okay, here on record, for a woman, 1889, born and died in 2019, age 129 in Russia. And here for a man, but I think this is not substantiated. This person was supposed to have lived till 146 years in Central Java, died in 2017. Okay, but according to the Guinness World Records, the greatest fully authenticated age to which any human has ever lived is 122 years, 164 days, right? A French woman who died in 1997. Okay, so the one that had been officially accepted is 122 years, but the unofficial one, a few cases are more. Of course, if you refer to the Bible and Quran, then you have Noah living to 1,000 years. Okay. So what do studies on humans show when it comes to glutathione and longevity? So studies clearly show a correlation between high levels of glutathione activity and health and longevity. Right? The first study in 1998 showed higher levels of active glutathione in centenarians aged 100 to 105 as compared to those who were 30 to 40 years younger than them. Then 4 years later, another study, this time a prospective study, they followed 87 healthy women aged 60 to 103. And after 5 years of observation, they concluded that those with the high concentrations of glutathione in the blood were the ones who remained healthy and lived longer. Okay, that means at least there's less deaths in those with the high glutathione. So even in humans, it has been shown that glutathione correlates with longevity. Okay, so across the board, from the yeast to the worm to the mice and humans, glutathione is linked with longevity. So this is one of the statements that we can make, right? A claim, because this is proven by studies that glutathione can prolong life. What about having low glutathione? So this, on the other hand, equals diseases and early death. Okay, from heart attacks to stroke cancer, diabetes, and many, many other diseases, right? More than 100 diseases have been shown to be associated with having low glutathione levels. Okay, so from the knowledge that we have, here are some tips on how to live long. Okay, number one, make sure you inherit good genes. Okay, you choose your parents who live long. Number two, okay, do things that can switch on the longevity genes. All right, some are lucky to have plenty of longevity genes, but if they have poor lifestyle, these genes are not switched on. But even if you don't have many longevity genes, but if you do things that switch on these longevity genes, you may be better off than the first person. And how to switch on the longevity genes, right? Fasting, calorie restriction, and making sure you have plenty of glutathione. Number three, preserve and regenerate your telomeres. Telomeres are the ends of your chromosomes, which keep the chromosome intact and prevent the shortening of the telomeres as the cells divide. Okay, so the cells divide, there'll be some shortening, but with intact telomeres, then the shortening will be less. And what more, if you can boost up the enzyme telomerase, we can even increase the length of the shortened telomeres. Okay, and take note, this process is regulated by glutathione. Number four, then you have to find ways to replenish your stem cells. Okay, so you must know that from the time that we are born, immediately the number of stem cells start coming down. And by the time you're 15 years old, you only left about 10% left of your stem cells. So that's why, in fact, that's the first part of aging. Okay. And again, glutathione has a very important role here. Glutathione increases the proliferation and differentiation of stem cells. Right? Proliferation means the ability to multiply. Differentiation is the ability to change to the type of cells that need to be replaced. Okay, so glutathione has a significant role in the functions of stem cells. Fifthly, you have to optimize the hormones, especially the growth hormone, the DHEA, the sex hormones. So here, glutathione has a crucial role in keeping all the hormone receptors healthy, right? You remember when we talk about diabetes, we talk about the cells having insulin receptors, and when the insulin receptors are damaged by oxidative stress, by toxins, etc., then you end up with a condition called insulin resistance. The same thing happens with receptors of the other hormones. Okay, all the hormones that affect the cells will have their respective receptors. And what can happen to the insulin receptors can also happen to the receptors of other hormones. Okay, so in some way you can have HGH resistance, DHEA resistance, and testosterone resistance, and estrogen resistance, for example. All right, it's a known fact that boosting glutathione will increase the efficacy of the sex hormones in your body without raising the level of sex hormone. Okay, even if you don't raise your levels of testosterone or estrogen, you boost your glutathione, then they work better because the receptors are healthier. Then you need to replenish the endogenous molecules, especially glutathione. Okay, so what are the other endogenous molecules? Endogenous molecules means the molecules that are produced by the body. And on top of the list is glutathione. Okay, so when it comes to the antioxidants, and the ones that are produced by the body are glutathione, alpha lipoic acid, and coenzyme Q10. All right, and inside the cell of the network antioxidants. You have two vitamins, vitamin C, vitamin E, which are not produced by the cell, that we have to take from outside, and those are called exogenous, right? Exogenous. And usually when it comes from outside, we say endogenous nutrients, or because they come through nutritious stuff, right? And many enzymes are produced by the body. We have the endogenous enzymes, which also need to be looked at and replenished. I mentioned, for example, telomerase. Okay. So adequate exogenous nutrients, right? The vitamins, the minerals, and many other stuff we need for good health. Of course, you need to lead, with all that, you need to lead a healthy lifestyle, manage stress, have sufficient sleep, avoid or minimal alcohol, not smoking, and plenty of exercise. Okay. But a caution does not mean that the more intense exercise, it is better for the body. No. If you do what is called interval, intensity exercise, where you the intense part is only a short portion of the exercise, then it is quite okay. Those who do prolonged intense exercises, then they don't realize, because they're still fit, then there may be damage to the body, which they will suffer later on. For example, autopsies done on marathon runners found that many of them have evidence of silent infarcts, silent heart attacks. Okay, so it's not necessarily you have to do too much of intense exercise, moderate exercise, then with burst in between. And then you should maintain a healthy body weight, avoid being overweight or obese. There has never been any centenarian who has been obese. Well, maybe there's one or two odd one, but in general, you don't expect to live to 100 if you are obese. A study of groups of people who live long showed that the most important factor is, in fact, having a strong social support. That is, having family, friends, and society to rely on and to keep company when you are old. And this factor is more important than treating your hypertension and treating your diabetes, not smoking, etc. In fact, this is the most important factor according to the study. So do not underestimate. Of course, you need to avoid infections and accidents. Okay, and finally, where possible, you vaccinate against infections. But I must stress, make sure that the vaccines are safe, all right? There's a lot of controversy now whether the COVID-19 vaccines are safe or not. But for the vaccines that are known to be safe, then by all means vaccinate yourself. For example, in the studies of the people who live long, after the strong social support, high up there in the priority is also vaccination against influenza, for example. Okay, that saves many people from dying. So these are 13 factors that you should look into if you want to live long. Okay, the only one that you cannot choose actually is number one, because you didn't choose your parents. All the rest, now you are in a position to do something. And look at the role of glutathione. right? Number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6, all involve glutathione. Okay, so glutathione has a very important role to play in anyone's health and anyone hoping to live long, right? Your fountain of youth, one indispensable component is having high levels of glutathione. Okay, so the sad story is that part of our aging, our glutathione levels, even though it's produced by the body starts producing less and less glutathione after 20 as part of our programmed degeneration and aging until it becomes very, very low if you live until 80. Which means then when the glutathione levels go down, then you have increased oxidative stress, you increased toxicity, reduced immunity, and increased inflammation, right? The decline is about 10 to 15% every decade. Okay, so since glutathione is so important, and now that we know it comes down with age, then we need to boost up glutathione to avoid from having all those health problems that we talked about. And certainly, if you want to live long, you cannot just age gracefully and let this happen. You have to do something to reverse this decline in glutathione and keep it high throughout. Okay. Look at the estimated level of glutathione as you age compared to when you were 20 years old. So how to increase glutathione? Unfortunately, even though plants and animals that we eat have glutathione to protect themselves, studies have shown that food source glutathione does not increase the glutathione levels because glutathione, as mentioned earlier on, is fragile. It just gets digested. So what the scientists have found out is that all we need to do is to consume a stable form of cysteine, right? Cysteine is one of the 3 precursors or the building blocks of glutathione, which are glutamic acid, cysteine, and glycine. But glutamic acid and glycine are plentiful in our diet, and they are also stable. So only cysteine becomes a problem because it's the least available amino acid, and also it is fragile. So the challenge is to provide cysteine in a stable form so that it does not get denatured or destroyed in the intestine, the stomach and intestines, and then can be absorbed and made available for the cells to make glutathione. And studies have shown that the best available source at the moment is a molecule called ribocysteine, trademarked as ribosine, which is a result of research of Max International. So what is ribosine? Right, it is D-ribose L-cysteine, made of simple sugar D-ribose and a natural amino acid L-cysteine. As explained, then the cysteine is stable and protected and can get into the body, into the cell for the manufacture of glutathione. And ribose, the simple sugar, is not burned to make calories, but is used to make molecules in the body. And much of ribose is used to make ATP, the energy-carrying molecule. And the manufacture of glutathione requires ATP, right? So this is the marvel of ribosine. It provides a cysteine and also the ribose to boost the ATP, which is required for the manufacture of glutathione, which probably explains why ribosine is 300% better than the next best precursor, NAC, in boosting glutathione. Okay, what are the sources? D-ribose comes from maize, and the L-cysteine from vegetable source by fermentation process. Okay, so you say that both are from plants, so certified halal and kosher. Okay. So we stress so much about glutathione, but since you also have ATP, let's also celebrate the benefit that ribose brings in by boosting up ATP. Right, with ATP, you have extra energy, you have better performance, better blood flow, better recovery from exercise, from stress, and the heart and muscles especially benefit from having extra ATP. Uh, and it is especially good for the heart and cardiologists who believe in nutrition actually use ribose for their heart patients. Okay, we have two products. One is Max1, which is 100% ribosine. Another one is Celgevity, which is ribosine plus 12 other ingredients that have that add on many benefits to whatever the benefits we talked about just now of ribosine. Plus, this also enhances the function of glutathione in the body. Okay, in summary, glutathione has many functions crucial for health. Having adequate glutathione is associated with good health and longevity, and deficiency is associated with poor health, disease, and shorter lifespan. Longer lifespan means slower aging and less diseases. Studies on yeast, worms, mice, and humans show that glutathione levels correlate with longevity. Glutathione deficiency, when corrected, increases lifespan in non-human studies. Human studies show high glutathione is associated with good health and longevity. Endogenous production of glutathione declines after age 20, which increases oxidative stress and inflammation while reducing immunity and detoxification and cause other dysfunctions. Low glutathione levels can be replenished by glutathione precursors, example, ribosine. Right, and we have Max1, 100% ribosine. We also get the benefits of boosting ATP, not just benefits of glutathione, boosting glutathione. And you have Celgevity, it has the benefits of ribosine plus the other 12 ingredients. Right, so Celgevity is an anti-aging powerhouse. Thank you very much.